Have Riot retconned the lore again? Well, you might be surprised. In this video, I will talk about a common misconception I kept seeing in the past week or so related to the latest lore elements introduced with the release of the latest act. Thanks to the thumbnail, you already know that I'm going to talk about Darius. If you're an arcane viewer, this information might not seem as important, but it is very important because I'm talking about a very important character, or at least that's how I see it. The idea is that this character is so important that I believe he will be part of the next arcane spin-off, the one which is most likely going to happen in Noxus. Of course, anything can happen, I do not have the script yet, but I can definitely say that I would be very surprised if Darius is not introduced in an arcane spin-off related to Noxus, considering the fact that he is one of the leading figures of Noxus. So what is the misconception? Well, I've seen people believe that with the introduction of the latest skin for Darius, Riot Games retconned his lore and made it so that he has the true eyes being part of him forever. I believe before we get to have a say about all of that, we need a bit of context. First, we all need to understand that over a year ago, Riot Games mentioned how, moving forward, all the opening cinematics will be canon to the lore.
The moments shown in past season start cinematics, like Awaken, for example, those have often felt like they should be canon, and some of them are fully consistent with the wider world, but some of them aren't. Going forwards, including the upcoming cinematic in just a few months, we're going to be making sure that they're an integrated part of our world and storytelling.
What we can understand from that is that the opening cinematic for the latest League season, Welcome to Noxus, isn't there just to promote the game, it is actually part of the story. The same goes for these other mini cinematics, the one promoting the act and the one promoting the Mordekaiser skin, the Exalted skin, you know, the one which was pushed back, the $250 skin, you remember that. Second, they also mentioned the intent of having one consistent lore across everything they release.
So going forward, from today, all new storytelling is going to be part of one shared canon, rather than a jumble of different experiences that are similar but inconsistent. And our goal is to ensure that major events in our stories, as well as the essence of what makes a champion who they are, will be reflected across everything that Riot makes. Getting to that consistent state is not going to be a sudden flip of the switch, but a gradual process. This doesn't mean we're going to go back to retcon every champion or story we've told, but every time we touch a part of the League universe, we're going to take a beat to ask ourselves where the inconsistent threads are and work towards weaving them together so the world makes sense. This is going to take time, and we believe the payoff for getting this right will be absolutely worth it.
Seeing their commitment to having one consistent canon is amazing, but we'll see if they can keep that and for how long. Maybe until the next show is released. Now that we understand this information, we need to talk about the character. What we know about Darius is that he is the Hand of Noxus. He was named by the previous Grand General and sent in Freljord to capture it. Ultimately, he returned home to gather more troops, only to find out that now Swain is in control. He joins Swain and they form the new governing body of Noxus, the Trifarix, right? Might, Vision and Guile. The opening cinematic of the season references this first campaign in Freljord, where Darius fights against Trundle in a duel for access up the mountain. Trundle is the king of trolls, and on top of that, he is an Iceborn, so he can wield weapons made out of true ice. True ice is, well, ice that never melts, and only Iceborn can wield it without the risk of dying. While Trundle was trying to rip Darius' head off, Darius picks his weapon up, and because it was corrupted by the true ice, his veins start to freeze. Ultimately, Darius is able to power through the pain and strike Trundle for the win. In the present day, we have a mini cinematic with Darius giving a speech in the arena to some of these gladiators. What you can clearly see by watching the cinematic is that Darius remembers 3 distinct elements. If you're looking at the gladiators who are listening to the speech, you're not going to spot Alistar among them. And why am I saying Alistar? Well, he would be very easy to spot, and he is part of the cinematic, but he is part of the cinematic because Darius remembers watching him fight. The same goes for Draven, and the same goes for Xin Zhao. If we also get to count the other gladiators who are part of the skin line, we have Rel, but Rel was fighting in another arena in Belgium, and that is based on the Ambessa book. After that we have Sion. Sion was the previous hand of Noxus, so him fighting in the arena or being part of the skin line, same as Darius, can be considered canon. And lastly, the one with the least amount of lore in this area, we have Talon. Since there is a lot of space for this character, I believe introducing him as a reckoner isn't a big deal, because he can also be one of those characters, oh, I failed the assassination attempt on Katarina, now I'm going to fight in the arena because I want to train more, right, or something like that. And as Darius mentions in his speech, it is part of their core, it is part of being a Noxian. Another element which he remembers is the Noxite tribes fighting in the arena, and I believe that is Mordekaiser, human Mordekaiser, watching these people fighting. The last element which he remembers is the fight he had in Freljord against Trundle. In conclusion, what you need to gather from all of this is that they decided to put 2 canon events into one skin. You can see that while Darius is in the arena, he doesn't have the true ice corruption, he simply remembers the event. So this skin is a reference to that moment from the past and the moment from the present whenever he is giving a speech in the arena. Okay, now we know that Darius' character has been kept consistent even through this event, which is a good thing, obviously. Hopefully they will keep him consistent in the upcoming show, because I believe if they completely change his character, then people will go absolutely insane. I could be wrong about that, but if you believe people were mad about Victor, Darius will be off the charts, or at least that's what I think. Besides that, what can I say? Personally, I'm enjoying this focus on the lore, and hopefully they can continue this for as long as possible, and we'll see what's gonna happen whenever they release the next TV show, in 2 years or something like that. You can tell me your own opinion in the comment section, and thanks for watching.